Hey folks, welcome back to Ken Michaels Radio, where we talk all the time about the Beatles and we bring you all kinds of shows here on this channel. It's actually hard for me to believe this, but it's been about a year since the last time I had a Beatles trivia show. And we brought back the winner of that show because he has to return, or we try to get the winners to return to challenge the next batch of contestants on the show. And so we're going to have a lot of fun testing these three guys on their knowledge of Beatles music and history, Beatles and solo. So let's welcome them to the program. First of all, the winner last time was John Borack, who you know as being the editor of Goldmine Magazine. And not only that, he wrote a book a couple of years ago and he was on this channel talking about it, Beatles 100. 100 pivotal moments in Beatles history. He also wrote a book, I think it was in 2010, Life is What Happens, on John Lennon. And he's a power pop dude.
Mhm.
He knows all about power pop, and he's put out a couple volumes of books rating the best power pop albums. We got to get you on other shows to talk about that because I'd like to do some tributes in the future to someone like Eric Carmen. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
that would be pretty cool. So John, welcome back to the show.
I'm glad to be here. Just a small correction. I'm not the editor of Goldmine Magazine. I'm a contributing editor. So in case my editor, Pat, is watching, I'm not taking your job, I promise, Pat.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. Anyway, since John loves Power Pop, we have Bob Burger here. I thought I'd surprise you, John, by bringing on Bob,
You
who's in
did.
the Weeklings. And the Weeklings just recently released a Christmas album. And I know that they have a show coming up in New Jersey in Carteret, and that's on February the 8th. How's it going, Bob?
You know more than I do. No, that's true. True. Yes, it's going great. Thank you.
A lot of musicians don't know the dates that they have
No,
lined up.
I can't keep track of my schedule. I was on the phone and I just dig out the phone when I need to know.
Okay. Well, we're going to give everybody your website. Yeah, there we go. The last time John was on, he
Thank
held
you.
that up. So
It's awesome.
Weekling's album Raspberry Park, and I figured why not surprise John? I was trying to get Glenn Burtnick too, but we got Bob here on the show, and so great to have you back.
Pleasure to be here.
And another special guest who's been on the channel a couple of times is Jordan Runtagh, and he is a podcast king.
Hmm.
What about that?
Don't you love how I build up everybody here on this channel? Anyway, he's done a lot of podcasts for iHeart Radio, and most recently, one of them is called Too Much Information, which you just might get on this program. We want to tell folks what that show's all about.
Yeah, too much information. It's basically I describe it as an audio listicle. My earlier job before getting into podcasting was I worked at Rolling Stone and People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly as a print journalist, and I loved doing all those like 10 things you didn't know about, The Graduate, 20 things you didn't know about The Godfather. Like I just loved. I'm a research hound, and I love looking up trivia and finding little known details and facts about the making of all my favorite stuff. So this show, every episode we take a different album, song, TV show, or movie, and we just dive into the making of it, tell little known behind the scenes stories and weird details. We're working on one on the Wizard of Oz that we're taping tomorrow, loosely tied to the success of Wicked, and then we're going to do one on like a Rolling Stone, obviously for a complete unknown. And yeah, we just do all sorts of weird stuff. We did one on Bewitched not too long ago, just anything that interests us. And we did one on Wonderful Christmas Time actually over
Oh,
the holiday, which my co-host, I think he's just about forgiven me for. I'm a Wonderful Christmas Time apologist. I think it's a wonderful song, but
so do I.
yeah, but he's a classically
Invited me on
trained
it.
musician and he fights me on it.
You should have invited me on that show then.
Oh, that would have been fun. Oh, I should have. All right. Well, we do Happy Christmas Wars over next year or next
Okay.
Christmas. Absolutely.
All right. Well, Ringo's Christmas album.
Oh, I want to be Santa. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget Ding Dong Ding Dong.
That's true.
I always think of that almost more as like a New Year's song, but yeah, I guess a holiday song.
And listen, the snow is falling.
Oh, wow. We should just do a Beatles solo Christmas episode. I'm actually ashamed I didn't think of that.
By the way, one other thing about Jordan that I was really impressed with, a few months ago, I saw him for the first time in a long time, and he was moderating a panel discussion on the Mind Games box set in New
Thank
York
you.
City for a listener party, which was really cool because you had Ken Asher there and David Spinoza and Gordon Edwards and Jim
Keltner on the
Keltner
big
was there by
screen.
Zoom.
That was so
Yeah,
cool.
there you go.
Oh, it's fun.
John is
Thank
always
you.
ready. A little blurry. That's fine.
This is how he wins. This is how he wins.
And he's got that's a wings cap?
I would say that's a great hat.
It is, yes,
All right.
it is.
Cool.
All right.
And a Beatles shirt, but you can't see it. But yes.
Okay. All right. And also you moderated a panel at the Paley Center for Beatles 64.
Oh yeah, that was not too long ago. It was a lot of fun. We had the director was there, but we also had Debbie Supnick, who was one of the original kids in the crowd at the Ed Sullivan show, and she just brought a ton of passion. I mean, it was like getting choked up listening to her because she just brought you there. She really did. Her and Jamie Bernstein was another one who was just
Oh yeah.
channeled her inner 13-year-old and just brought. It's so cool to talk to first generation Beatles fans and who came to it with no preconceived anything, because when I first started learning about them in the early 90s, it was anthology era, and it just felt like they were this modern myth and the story had been written. And it's just so cool to hear from people, why in that moment, why did it hit you so quickly? What was it about it?
Right.
And everybody has a different answer, which is even more interesting. But
Yeah.
it was great. They were great. That was really fun.
I get a little jealous of hearing from those people who were there at that time and saw the Beatles in concert. And,
It's amazing.
I have to be happy to say I saw 3 of the 4 Beatles in concert, solo wise.
Yeah.
I'm lucky in that.
You saw George?
I saw George in 74,
Wow.
but I never
my
saw John.
God.
Never saw John.
It's one too many opportunities,
my
I
big
guess.
regret. I wish I had been there for the Elton John show when John appeared.
Yeah.
That would have been sweet. Anyway, so let's get started with our quiz show here. The way that this works is that in true Beatles tradition, we have 9 trivia questions or games, and it all tests your knowledge on Beatles music and history. Like I said, group and solo. The first 3 are worth 1 point each. The next 3 are worth 2 points each. The only thing that's a little tricky is that when you get to the 7th trivia question or game, if you get that right, you win 3 points, but you also have the choice of either automatically being the first person to get to try for the 8th trivia question or game, and you have a choice of 3 games to pick from. You pick it, but if you get it wrong, you lose 4 points. Or you can just be like everybody else. You don't have to be the first person to answer it. And that's the only way you can lose points in the game, is that way. Okay. And then the last one, the 9th game or trivia question is worth 5 points. And in this case, you're all going to have the chance to win because you'll write down the answer if you know the answer. That's going to be with a game called Think for Yourself. Okay. So when it comes to any game at all that requires 2 answers, you're going to have to give me both of them. And then at the end of both of them, I'll tell you if you're correct. I'm not going to tell you after each one if you're correct, because if you're wrong, that way someone else who tries it won't be given a clue, or they wouldn't know if the first one is correct by the way that you answered it. Okay? Any questions? Bob looks perplexed.
I'll figure it out.
Okay. Guarantee you will not be a weakling on the show.
I think I already am one. So
What's that?
I think I already am a weakling on the show.
Oh, no, you're not. Come on. So the first game is the Beatle one-liner. And that's when I read a line from a Beatles song or a solo Beatles song, and you have to tell me which one it is. By the way, when you know the answer, raise your hand, say your name. Sometimes there's some confusion on the show if 2 people at the same time raise their hand and say their names. So if that happens and I can't tell who was first, then you can write it down on a piece of paper and then show your answer. And you can both, or even 3 of you, get points. Okay. And I will be keeping score. I can handle this kind of math. Anyway, for the Beatle one-liner, tell me what Beatles song or solo Beatles song contains these lyrics. You didn't even think of me as someone with a name.
Jordan.
Jordan,
I feel like one of the Mouseketeers. What goes on?
there you go. All right. You got 1 point for that. I should have made sure that all the Beatles songs here that are answers are songs the Weeklings covered. That would have been nice.
We actually recorded that one.
I don't remember that.
It was, yeah, it was on the very first record we did, but it's not, I don't think it's released.
That's why I don't know it.
Yeah, we did an album before the first album, which was had a lot of the same songs on it. And we had a different drummer back then. And the drummer we had then sang that song.
Okay. When the box set comes out,
Yeah, yeah,
you let me know.
yeah.
Okay, so now we have a game called What Happened First. And you're going to have to give me two answers for this, for each one. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you when you give me the first answer if it's correct or not. Okay? John Lennon recorded Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds with Elton John, or John Lennon recorded Fame with David Bowie. What happened first? No, 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 no. That's the first one. Okay? So here's the second one. The release of the Let It Be album by the Beatles, or the release of Sentimental Journey by Ringo. So you have to get both those answers correct. And John has raised
I'm
his.
gonna, okay, I think let's see. I believe Lucy in the Sky was recorded before Fame,
And
and I believe that was it released? Was when was Let It Be released and Sentimental Journey released?
which
Was
one
released
came
first?
first? What happened
Which
first?
one came first? Okay, I will say Sentimental Journey.
You're good. Okay. So I have the dates here in case you're interested. John Lennon recorded Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds in that this was at the Caribou Ranch, and that was in summer of 1974. He recorded Fame with David Bowie at Electric Lady Studios in January of 75. Let It Be was released, the album May 8th of 1970. Sentimental Journey was March 27th of 1970. And actually the McCartney album, the first one, was April 17th. That was sandwiched in between those. Okay, so our next game are two true and false statements. So you have to tell me for both of them if they are true or false. John Lennon played the bass on The Long and Winding Road. What Is Life was originally written for Billy Preston.
I'll take a
Bob,
crack at it. True and true.
there you go. You're right. Okay. So you're all tied now. The heat is on. How do you feel?
Glenn Fry. Oh, never
And I
mind.
had to learn that bass part at one point.
Oh, the song? Oh, the bass part.
The bass part for Long and Winding Road, because Glenn played piano and I had to switch to bass. So, which is exactly what the Beatles did.
Right. Okay. How'd you like playing the bass for that?
Oh, great. Weird. It's a weird part. And you can tell it's not McCartney because the style is so different. He
Hmm.
does these long slide things. Very strange.
Bunch of root notes, right?
Not that too much. Just the slides. They're weird. He just like you'll hear it. Yeah.
Okay. So we have a trivia question here that is worth 2 points now. All right. If you're good with lyrics, name two Beatles songs in which the word apologize can be found in the lyrics. Two songs. There are two. Apologize. Where do you hear apologize in Beatles songs?
I know one.
Okay, I'll wait till one of you raise your hand. I hope one of you raises your hand.
Tough one. Wow.
If you don't get it, you'll bang your head against the wall once I give you the answer.
They're definitely both John Lennon songs.
I'm not going to say anything.
You don't have to say anything.
Apologize. John and Bob, you're in Beatles. You play Beatles songs live all the time too.
Yeah, yeah, we do. We do.
You could just say you give up, or
This makes for great television, though.
yes.
I'm just sitting here
staring off into space, looking annoyed.
Okay, I'll be the first one to give up.
Okay.
I'll give up because I know one.
Okay. Jordan.
I don't want to hold everybody up.
Okay. I'll give you the answers. Tell me why.
Oh,
Something I have said or done. Tell me why, and I'll apologize. And She Loves You. Apologize to
Oh
her.
yeah. Boy, I should have known that one.
and I should have known Tell Me Why. That's one of my favorite Beatles songs, probably in my top 10.
There
Tell
you
Me
go.
Why jumped in my head right away, but I don't know why I wasn't thinking of She Loves You.
I didn't get She Loves You either. That's so funny.
I do this song every night. It's really weird.
Really?
Maybe you should study the words a little more then.
You know what? It becomes so automatic that you don't even know
Yeah.
what you're singing, you know?
Yeah.
I know. The tough thing about this show, and I was saying this to Bob before we recorded this, is that you could be the most knowledgeable person in the world on the Beatles, but to come up with answers quick is the tough part.
Mhm.
You probably would know a lot of these answers if you were given 10 minutes each for all these games and trivia questions. Okay, so the next game is called The Note They Never Wrote.
Hmm.
What I'm going to do is ask you a question about a song that's not a Beatles song or a solo Beatles song, but it has a reference to the Beatles in the song. And you've got to name what that song is. For 2 points, what classic rock song from Bad Company references the Beatles and their song Love Me Do in the lyrics?
I know that.
Mm.
Johnny was a schoolboy. He played the first Beatles song. I'm trying to get the title of it.
It was actually
I
performed.
got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shooting Star.
Very good.
Hmm.
For 2 points right there. Very nice, Bob. Okay. So, Bob, you're in the lead now with 3 points.
Wow. Never expected that.
And I should point out that when Simon Kirke toured with Ringo in the All-Star Band, they did Shooting Star.
Oh yeah.
Ringo drumming to it.
Cool.
All right. Now for number 6. This is the flat-out trivia question, another one worth 2 points. What John Lennon song was inspired by a poem by Robert Browning? John?
That Grow Old With Me.
There you go.
I know that because it was my wife and I's first dance at our wedding. So if I didn't know that, I'd be in trouble.
Well, if she doesn't watch the show, then you wouldn't be in trouble.
Good point. Good point.
Didn't they live on
But,
Wimpole Street?
What's that?
Didn't they live on Wimpole Street, not far from the Ashers? Like the Brownings of Wimpole Street. I think that was. I'm not sure. Like, I don't remember.
I don't know, but that was based on the poem by Rabbi Ben Ezra. And it starts with Grow Old Along With Me, the best is yet to be. And
Beautiful song, too. Oh, my goodness.
It's actually one of my wedding songs.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
I had 4 wedding songs, one from each Beatle, and that was the John Lennon song.
Nice.
John wanted it to be a wedding song. All right, so now we move on to a trivia question for 3 points. And if you get this right, you could have the chance to automatically be the first person for the 8th one for 4 points. What was the last song George Harrison wrote for Ringo Starr, which Ringo recorded and released? It's a tough one. Got to go back to Ringo's catalog. And remember, I said recorded and released, and that George Harrison wrote it, not just played on it. He had to have written the song.
I know this. I can't think of it. Give me 10 minutes and I'll come up with the answer.
I'll take a guess. I think it's wrong.
Okay.
The Photograph.
No. Nope.
But he did write that.
He co-wrote it with Ringo. Okay. The last song George Harrison wrote for Ringo, which Ringo recorded and released. All right. You guys
I know what album it's on, but that doesn't help, so I'll give up.
Okay. I'll tell you the answer. It's Rack My Brain.
Yeah, that's
from Stop and Smell the Roses.
That was the one. Yeah.
But George did play on Vertical Man, but he didn't write any of the songs on Vertical Man. He played on King of Broken Hearts and I'll Be Fine Anywhere. Okay, so nobody got that one. So that means that I can either just give you another question, which would be for 3 points. You could try for that, or we'll just go right into the 8th one and you're all equally, you have an equal chance. What do you think? Jordan, you're the newcomer. We'll let you decide.
More questions, the better. Let's do it.
All right.
I want to redeem myself.
For 3 points, name the drummers for each of these 2 songs. The Ballad of John and Yoko, Power to the People. John?
I'm going to try. Ballad of John and Yoko, the drummer was Paul McCartney. I know that. Power to the People, I'm going to have to guess. Shoot. It's one of 2 people, but I'm just going to...
Just say one.
No, I'm just going to say one. I'm going to say Jim Keltner.
Wrong. Well, actually, Bob raised his hand before you, Jordan. Okay, Bob?
I would say Paul McCartney for the first and Alan White for the second.
Wrong.
No?
Oh, that was my guess.
All right.
I have my 3rd guess. See if I'm right. I don't know.
It gets confusing with the drummers sometimes.
Can we guess again, or one guess is it?
One time.
Oh.
Throw out any name, Jordan.
Alan White was my guess. This isn't it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Ringo?
Nope. Paul McCartney for the first, Jim Gordon for the second.
Oh, man.
That was the other one I was thinking of. Damn it. Oh, well.
All right. Should we try again another trivia?
I think you should
Sure, why not?
You know, Ken, I think there should be some hints involved here when we're stuck. You know?
All right. I also got a complaint when I gave a contestant a hint on one of the shows. So anyway, I tell you what, one of you has to get this one. This
Your faith in us is so warms my heart.
For 3 points, I know one of you is going to get this. The Beatles had 2 #1 songs in the United States on the Billboard charts that were not on Capitol or Apple. Can you just name one of them? Jordan. She Loves You?
On Swan, right?
On Swan Records. Very good. Can any of you name the other one? John.
I think it was Love Me Do on Tolly Records, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I can't stump you guys. Well, I did before that.
I was going to say, yes.
All right. So Jordan now gets 3 points. and he's in the lead. And Bob has 3, and John has 3. I'm telling you, this is a tight race right here.
Hmm.
Okay, so that means that you have a choice here of 3 games to pick from. Okay, it could either just be a flat out trivia question, it could be a game called Backwards Traveler, or it could be a game called Two of Us. If you choose, you will automatically be the first person to answer it. There's no competition there, but if you get it wrong, then you lose 4 points. So you have a choice. If you don't want to do that, you can just be treated like
Yeah,
Bob here.
let's do a normal round next one. I'm not brave enough.
Okay.
I know.
Nobody's
It's
brave enough on
disappointing.
this show. Okay. So what I'm going to do is use one of those games, and it's going to be Two of Us. And this is not an easy one. Both the Beatles and the Doobie Brothers have recorded 2 different songs that they had hits with. The same title, but 2 different songs.
That's so
The
good.
Beatles and the Doobie Brothers. Can you give me the title?
That's so good.
One song or 2 songs?
No, it's 2 separate songs that have the same title. They're 2 completely different songs,
Okay.
the same title, and they were
And they're both hits.
they were hits
Wow.
for both the Beatles and the Doobie Brothers.
Hmm.
Boy, John, you looked like you got it there from the expression on your face.
Nope. Thinking of the biggest hits, and I'm not coming up with it.
I'll give you a hint if you want.
Oh yeah.
Please do.
It was a later hit for the Doobie Brothers and a later hit.
Oh, got it. Real Love.
There you go.
Nice.
All right, John.
Nice one.
Now in the lead with 7. Jordan has 4 and Bob has 3. So that brings us to the very end right here. The final game, which is called Think for Yourself. I'm going to mention 4 titles of Beatles songs or solo Beatles songs. They all share one thing uniquely in common with each other. And all 3 of you can write down what that is. Don't raise your hand for this, okay? You all have a chance to get 5 points for this. All right. The 4 songs are Maybe I'm Amazed, the studio version. I Want to Tell You, Stealing Glass, 8 Days a Week. Write it down if you think you know what those 4 songs all have in common with each other. Maybe I'm Amazed, the studio version. I Want to Tell You, Stealing Glass, and 8 Days a Week.
There's no way it's this.
Does that smile mean you got it, Jordan?
I mean, I don't know if this is accurate, but you're gonna be like, well, yeah, a lot of songs have that, but I don't know if this is what you're thinking of, but
Have any idea, Bob?
I have
do.
an idea, but I don't think it's right.
I know.
Well,
I
right
think.
there. Don't say anything yet.
Okay.
Let me know when you guys are ready.
Guess I'll write something down, but I don't think it's right.
At least write something.
you're
Is
gonna
this
laugh
like
me out of here.
so? This is like Final Jeopardy, basically, right? That's what we're doing here, like Final Jeopardy.
Yeah, pretty much. This time out. Sometimes the last game or a trivia question, it's you raise your hand for that and only one person gets it. But all of you could get 5 points here if you know the answer. Are we ready?
Sure.
Okay. All right, Bob, what's your answer?
What if you can't see it? It would say, if you could see it, that Paul played guitar in those songs.
No. Paul's not on Steel and Glass. Okay.
Okay.
John,
You can see that.
Everything is all blurry.
I know. I'm not sure why. Well, can I try to just tell you what it says?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They all
They
fade
all
in.
fade in the intro. That's correct. Okay. What do you have, Jordan?
Fade in.
Fade in. Okay. So that means total score is 12 for John, 9 for Jordan,
3.
and 3. You didn't do so bad.
Oh,
Bob.
I did not so well. But what's really stupid about that last question, for me personally, is we recorded it on our Christmas album, Joy by J.S. Bach, but it starts out with the introduction to 8 Days a Week, and we did the fade in. So I'm, technically very aware of all that. But I actually the third song you mentioned, it's a Beatles solo song. I don't know it.
Okay, Still in Glass,
I don't know the song, so
On Walls and Bridges from John.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not as smart on Beatles solo career as I am on the Beatles themselves, but oh well.
Okay, but I think it's a pretty unique feature for all those songs.
That was great. It's great.
Not many songs start that way, fading up like that.
No, it's another one of the things that the Beatles did first. So on the fade in on 8 Days a Week, they're the first that I'm aware of anybody doing that.
See, I have questioned that because wouldn't you say the Supremes, Come See About Me, starts off with the drums and it gets a little bit louder in the very beginning? It's a very fast fade
That's
up.
not a real true fade in, though. That's not a,
All right.
you know.
Because it was around the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, John, once again, you were our champion.
How is this happening? I have no idea.
Okay. And you did fine, Jordan. What are you so worried about?
My Beatles solo knowledge is spotty.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, then you'll just have to brush up on it.
I was gonna say now I got a goal for 2025.
Okay. Well, we'd love to have you back on the show whenever you want to participate in this kind of stuff. It's all, roll of the dice here. You don't know what questions you're going to get. And there's still quite a lot in there on the group. So, it's a mixture of both.
I listened to a few of your past episodes, and my favorite question, because it completely stumped me. Name the Beatles in order on the cover of Beatles for Sale. Looked at that album cover a million times. I had no idea at all. Totally lost.
Wow.
Isn't it funny how you can look at an album cover for years and years, and then all of a sudden you're asked the question and you don't remember exactly?
I had that poster on the wall of my childhood bedroom. I saw it every night when I was going to sleep, and I still didn't know.
Now I want to know what was the order, because I have no idea.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's a great question. It's like, yeah.
Watch this. I don't get it. George is the one on the left. Now I'm getting stumped.
George, John,
gotta
Paul,
know
Ringo?
If you don't know Abbey Road, you shouldn't even dare be on this show. Yeah, I mean, and then with the Beatles, which 3 are on top and which one is on the bottom? With the
Good
Beatles,
thing the bottom's easy.
Good thing we're done with the.
Well, the bottom one is easy.
yeah, but George, John, Paul, and then Ringo on the bottom. But Beatles for Sale. Think about that.
It's so hard. It's such a great question.
I think it's George, Paul, John, Ringo. Watch this. I get it all wrong.
Here, I'm looking it up here. It is George, John, Ringo, and Paul, left to right.
Boy, was I off. Okay.
I wouldn't have known. No idea.
Before we go, anything you want to plug? Anything going on with Goldmine? Did you have any kind of issue recently on the Beatles?
There was an issue on the Beatles. I didn't have anything in that one. I haven't been writing anything for Goldmine recently. I've had some medical stuff going on, but going to get back in and have my column, Power of Pop Plus, happening real soon. Have a book in the works. It'll be coming out hopefully by the beginning of next year about singles from the 1970s. It's called Reaching for the Stars. And playing drums in the Beatles cover band here in Southern California. We are called Let It Be. And we'll be doing a residency on the beach at Huntington Beach every Sunday, brunch with the Beatles, starting in March. So excited about doing that. It'll be our 5th year. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Very nice. You still have that EP available? That's your tribute to Denny Lane?
Yes. And actually, we just, that's another group that I'm with, Pop Dudes. We have a digital EP called the Denny Lane EP, which we recorded just after Denny passed a little over a year ago. That's on all the streaming services. And we've just recorded a few McCartney songs we're going to release digitally. My buddy Mike Simmons and I, who comprise Pop Dudes, we're big Beatles and McCartney nuts. So we recorded a couple of pretty obscure ones. To You from Back to the Egg, which I've always loved that song. And then we did No Values from the Give My Regards to Broad Street soundtrack. So hopefully soon, cross your fingers, those will be on the digital platforms as well.
You gotta perform over on the East Coast sometime.
Yeah, we don't really do live stuff with Pop Dudes. We've done it, but it's been a while. But it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Oh, that's so cool.
Good. We've lost our host. There he is.
There we go.
No, there you are.
Okay. All right, very nice. Bob, what's going on with you and with the Weeklings?
The Weeklings are playing a bunch of dates. We have the one February 8th that you mentioned at Carteret, New Jersey. The Abbey Road on the River Festival in May we'll be playing. We're doing a cruise, the On the Blue cruise with Moody Blues in August. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm picking and choosing here, but please go to our website, weeklings.com, weeklings, or bobburger.com, and you'll see all of our dates.
Okay. Who's in the Moody Blues these days?
Just Justin Hayward. It used to be called the Moody Blues Cruise, and now they just call it On the Blue Cruise because he's the only one that does it. So
Right. Yeah, I know John Lodge is touring separately or has been.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Jordan, how about you?
I'm working on a piece on the One documentary. We're going to be interviewing the director Kevin McDonald next week. If you haven't seen it yet and you get a chance to, it's really spectacular. I mean, just for the concert footage alone, I mean, Sean's remixes of that are just absolutely stunning. But the way the whole documentary is put together, it's really, really impressive. It mimics John's love of television. It just the footage, it just flicks through in a really non-linear way, but a really compelling way. It's really immersive and really takes you down the Bank Street. It's really cool.
Does it explain at all whether or not it's a combination of the afternoon and evening show, or is it like just from Live in New York City from the afternoon show? Do you know?
They don't. The only time they ever really specify, I think they have a little bit of rehearsal footage, but otherwise, it's pretty just, there's a clip of them on Mike Douglas, and then there's a clip of them, being interviewed on the steps of the, one of their immigration hearings, and then there's a footage of them on stage. It doesn't really have too much of a, there's no narrator or anything like that, so it doesn't really specify. But it's
Okay.
The footage is incredible. The stuff that you've seen before has been cleaned up in a really spectacular way, and there's a ton of stuff I'd never seen before. A lot of phone calls that John and Yoko made that they recorded themselves to safeguard themselves against the FBI, and it's really fascinating. It's really, really, really intimate in a way that doesn't feel exploitive. It's something fans will really like it. I'm excited for people to see it.
Yeah. I can't wait. I know it's going to be in IMAX theaters in April, I think it was, and then to the general public after that. But I don't know about a physical release yet. So,
hopefully I'll find out. I'll ask.
okay. All right. Well, thanks so much for doing this, guys. I hope you had a lot of fun. And
always fun. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
John, whether you like it or not, you're coming back, John.
Defend the title.
Don't plan anything too soon, right?
Yeah, I'll book it on my calendar for February 2026. Because it's been a year since the last one, right?
I know. I'm not waiting that long this time.
I'm just messing around.
Okay. Thanks so much for doing this. Thanks to all of you for
For
watching.
having us.
And we'll see you all next time. Take
See ya.
care.
Thanks, Ken.